75% of HR leaders say that they know it is critical to develop human skills in order to stay in business in the future. But less than half of them have any idea how they're going to develop those skills. If you want a competitive edge for the future, you need to be leveling up your organization's human skills, building resilience and flexibility so that every interaction, every team meeting is equipping you to be acting as one in achievement to your goals at the speed of business. Latest research says 3 out of 4 Gen Z would leave their job if they were not receiving consistent feedback. If you are leading a team of 20-somethings and you are not including clear, timely, actionable feedback as a major component of your regular cadence in your weekly one-on-one or your meeting debrief, then you are at risk to have turnover. And honestly, it's a really big ask. As managers, how are you going to customize all of that information for each of the different audience members that you might have when it comes to Gen Z? Do you need to be clear, direct, and blunt so that you're respecting their time? Do you need to be gentle and affirming and personable so you're not stepping on their toes and hurting their feelings and making them feel attacked? It matters. And if you want to be effective at raising up your young leaders to be making decisions and understanding philosophies of the company and executing independently, you need to be engaging them in regular feedback. And I know it's hard. I had somebody say to me once that they would love to just have robots for workers. Then they wouldn't have to deal with all of these mixed messages or miscommunications or misunderstandings. And I understand it, but people are just way more interesting, more valuable. And when you can have a healthy work environment where there is safety and belonging and respect for each other, you are so much more capable to accomplish great things, maybe even change the world with people. So when I hear people say, gosh, this is so challenging, and it's the same issue with interpersonal communication, with misunderstanding that just repeats itself again and again. If you are looking to transform your team from having these same conflicts to engaged, aligned, and activated towards a mission, maybe you want to practice using human skills. Cloverleaf's automated coaching helps you to bridge from learning in the classroom to actually using it in your real life, in the flow of your work. Personalized development. It's not anchored to your start date or having just gotten a promotion. It's also built into who you are as a person. Tackling real-time problems while they are in the midst of them, giving feedback that is actionable, timely, and in a manner that the person receiving it best learns. And the reason all of this matters is because it is leveling up your organization's human skills so you can compete in the future. If you need to be scaling your human skills inside of your organization, automated coaching can do that. I don't know if you work with managers that are really struggling with maybe one person, with the whole team, but they have these interpersonal engagements with folks and it goes badly and they might carry on for a while. You might feel at risk of how to intervene or how to support them, or possibly as someone who is supporting these managers, you find out about it too late. The relationship cannot be recovered even if the performance or the communication can be. And potentially that could lead to attrition and turnover and more work for everyone. If you are able to catch that before there's relational damage, before there's even a conflict that lasts beyond 24 hours, it can make the work easier, the manager's life easier, and for sure it can make the HR teams have an easier go of things when it comes to scheduling and fixing problems and putting fires out. I got to talk with one HR leader and he said he used to have to manage with teams about facilitating almost like mediations between manager and direct report. And they introduced Cloverleaf. They would use the insight search and they would use the dashboard to do a side-by-side comparison. And he had managers that were having a conflict and they left meetings going, oh my gosh, How did that get away from me? What just happened? And they would circle back. That manager would hop on Cloverleaf, do the comparison, figure out what communication issues could have arisen, possibly what data needed to be communicated that wasn't. And before the day was over, they were able to reconvene, figure out what happened, apologize for any miscommunication, and get back on the same page so they can move the project forward without relational damage. That is the power of automated coaching and the personality insights that help you to understand what it is that you're looking for and why that might be different than somebody else on your team. And also a throughway on how to manage so that everyone gets what they need and minimize the misunderstandings that are so easy to have happen in the course of a day. People are angry, opportunity for development has been lost. The issue is we forget what we aren't reminded of. Did you know 3 weeks after a training program, you will only retain 20% of what you have learned? So that means you've lost 80% of the knowledge that was shared. But of that 20%, if you can start turning that knowledge into action, if you are implementing what you learned, it can drive as much as a 300% improvement in your performance. So for managers that are learning about how they like to communicate, how they're motivated, how that's different than those on their team, how their team might need different information to understand a concept, to have deadlines and expectations communicated in a different manner, it makes them 3x more effective. And that is how investing in human skills can drive business results that hit your P&L. Do you need to level up your organization's people skills, but you don't have the time to customize it for every personality on your team? Cloverleaf's personalized insights, they're anchored to how you learn, what your motivation styles are, how you communicate. They grow self-awareness and others' awareness, and then highlight the difference between the two so you know if you want to flex to make it easier to be working with another person. From the 10-20-70 learning model of classroom, relational 20%, 70% of learning happening in your interactions on the job, because of the automated coaching, we're able to transform that 10% of learning, and we can take that 10 and that 70% and turn all of that into behavior change, culture change, and increased business success.